Hi, I'm Fergus, I'm head brewer at Adnams, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our Old Ale. So Old Ale is a beer that we've been brewing since 1890, so it's our second oldest beer after Tally Ho. We describe it as a dark mild, I guess, now. There is an old style of beer called Old Ale, which is really beer that's been aged for a long time. Typically those beers would have been then blended with fresher, younger beers, and we think this style of Old Ale, hence the name, is sort of a reflection of that blended beer that people would have drunk. So it's not an Old Ale in terms of the actual age of the beer. It's a sort of style that's grown up out of that, we think. But now we'd call it a dark mild. You can see the sort of nice, really red hue to the beer. Really simple beer in terms of its recipe. Pale ale malt, a little bit of crystal malt to add a bit of toffee, some caramel for some colour, then some first gold hops in relatively low amounts because we don't want too much bitterness in the beer, and we don't really want too much hop character either. It's really about the malts and the sort of fermentation sort of flavours that this beer is about. We then ferment with Adnams yeast, slightly warmer temperature, which encourages some of those fruit flavours to be made, and the end result of that is a beer that has lots of aroma of caramel, of toffee, a little bit of nut character in there as well, a little bit of licorice as well, and a touch of chocolate as well, and all those flavours follow through in the palate as well. It's really light and refreshing as well. I know it looks like a dark beer and people associate dark beer with being heavy, but this beer absolutely isn't. It's really light and refreshing. It's also a beer, obviously, that's been around a long time, so lots of traditions, I guess, have grown up around Old Ale. I think when it comes out on cask, historically people would have taken a pint glass and put a hot poker in it. So that was sort of caramelising the flavours and enhancing those caramel flavours. We don't often see that anymore. I guess the advent of glass rather than pewter tankards sort of put bait to that for most people. But if you do insist on trying it, please use a clean poker. We also see this beer being blended quite a lot. So there's a nice tradition of blending this with our Southwell bitter, which is called Olden Bitter, which has taken on a name called Mother-in-Law, which I'm sure is completely inappropriate, but that's what it's called. And also it's a beer that as a brewer we really look forward to seeing, because we only do it seasonally. It comes out from sort of October through to sort of February, March time. It sort of marks the changing of the seasons a little bit for us. So we go from some of the summer ales and then into Old Ale, which has this nice comforting sort of feeling to it. So yeah, Old Ale, one of our favourites. Cheers.